One of the things I've come to enjoy about doing Coffee Time is that in my pastoral preaching at Cross Connection Church, I feel a strong conviction that I am representing the church. Though my biblical convictions and doctrinal positions are and will always be affected by my personality and personal biases, I try very hard to keep my personal opinions out of the pulpit. People don't gather on Sundays to hear me rant about my thoughts and opinions. They come, hopefully, to hear God through the Scriptures. So I've always tried to speak those things which become sound doctrine. Now, of course, that's still true here. I'm still Pastor Miles. I'm still going to do my best to speak the things that are in line with sound doctrine, but this is my personal channel. I've intentionally not placed these videos on our church channel because in some ways here, I'm going to speak for myself, and it will be a little bit more op-ed, shall I say. Why say all that? Well, the views expressed in this video and perhaps other videos I'll release here may not reflect the official stance of the church that I pastor. This isn't me speaking in my official capacity as the primary spokesperson or representative of the organization I serve. Now that I've got your attention, what possible grenade am I going to throw? Get your coffee. I regularly receive feedback, comments, input, we'll call it, from individuals in the church on how I ought to lead the organization. I'm going to be benevolent and say that such individuals are well-meaning, well-intentioned. Typically, those interactions happen through email. More than a few times they've come as handwritten notes, and most of the time those handwritten notes are anonymous. By the way, pastors love anonymous notes. Not really. Honestly, most pastors do their best to just throw anonymous notes in the trash, just so you know. I do my best to do the same, but I'll admit I've read more than a few anonymous notes that have come to my desk. And I've learned that if you've read one anonymous note, you've really read them all. They're all pretty much the same. The typical email that I'm speaking about always opens the same. Pastor, you're such a great Bible teacher. We so appreciate your giftedness in expounding the Scriptures, and we feel that we've grown so much during our time at the church. But, listen, if you've ever felt compelled to write one of these kinds of emails to your pastor, or to me if I'm your pastor, the flattery doesn't help. It's completely unnecessary and mostly disingenuous. It increases the word count, but very little more than that. It does not blunt the sharpness of your critique. So I've received the flattering notes, and often they begin with praise for my preaching and teaching gifts, and then they'll say something like, there are many of us who feel that you need to speak more forcefully on X, or we find it troubling that you're not more outspoken about Y, or we're very concerned that you appear fearful and timid concerning this issue or that. No, I'm not fearful. I'm just trying to do what God has called me to do. And just what is that? Jude, a servant of Jesus, and believed to actually have been Jesus' half-brother, wrote, "Beloved, while I was very diligent to write to you concerning our common salvation, I found it necessary to write to you, exhorting you to contend earnestly for the faith which was once for all delivered to the saints." My calling and my goal is to contend earnestly for the faith. That doesn't mean that I will never address issues that butt up against politics, nor does it mean that I won't call out cultural issues that contradict the faith or deal with issues running perpendicular to biblical justice. But my primary focus is the faith of Christ and his gospel. I don't think Jesus ever intended for his church to become a political rally. I don't have any desire to make Cross Connection Church into conspiracy chapel. Social activism isn't primary for the Christian. Certainly you could make the case that it is a byproduct of the faith or a result of the gospel, but it is not the prime product. More than a few churches become swept away by the distractions of social justice, political activism, and conspiratorial YouTube eschatology. So, with Jude, I find it necessary to exhort you to contend earnestly for the faith which was once for all delivered to the saints. We'll see you next time.